Hey everyone, welcome back to our long-running weekly discussions with Anna Kelly. How you doing, Anna?
I'm doing great, Michael. Good to see you.
Nice to see you as well. It's been a month or so. I've been traveling, you've been busy. But the first thing I have to put out there is literally in the last 30 minutes, I just got an email from Audible. My One Rental at a Time book is finally available on Audible. So many people asked for it. They want to drive and listen to it. And everybody, it is now available as of the last 30 minutes. Pretty cool.
Yay! Congratulations. It's so awesome. So awesome. I know so many more people will get value from it now too because of the ability to be able to listen to it in the car or wherever they're going. So it's incredible.
Yeah, it's I flash back all the time to like my worst class in high school was English. If anybody has seen my writing even in email or Facebook, I often misspell words, use words in the wrong way. So it is quite an accomplishment I never ever thought I would have to have a published book with well over 3,000 copies sold now. And
Wow.
seemingly growing every day. So it's heartwarming, and now we'll see what happens on Audible. So it's pretty fun.
Congratulations. So well deserved. And I know you're adding tremendous value. So I'm really excited for you and those that are going to be able to listen to it now.
Thank you, thank you. If I recall correctly, your son, I think your 16-year-old son, has a copy. Is that true?
He does. You were so kind and gracious to send that to him. And, one of the things that we've been working on with him over the last several months is getting him ready to start buying his own rental property and
Oh,
teaching him the business. And he really wants to do real estate. So we have it on our goals this year to, work with him and have him read a book a month and listen to a podcast, periodically on rental property. So yours is the first one he is diving into now. He's about
wow.
two-thirds of the way through. And yeah, he's enjoying it. So I told him when this is done, when you're finished, we need to hop on and get him on one of our calls and do an interview
Absolutely.
with you.
I would love that. The first thing I'm struck by is a 16-year-old that wants to do real estate. I had a 16-year-old at one time. She's older than that now, but she had no interest in real estate. So how'd you get so lucky?
In the beginning, he hated it. I mean, he told us about a year ago, I want nothing to do with real estate. It's so hard. I don't want to be, doing all the things in the middle of the night that we used to have to do when we were starting out and self-managed.
Yeah.
But when he saw that I retired and it actually, made us independently wealthy and it actually allowed me to retire early, he's like, there might be something to this. Told me how to do it, the smart way and not the, super sweat equity hands-on way. And so, we're teaching him the business side and he's also, getting his feet wet, so to speak, and doing things for us on the few that we still self-manage. So the power of what it does to change lives is what
Yeah.
convinced him that the headaches are worth it.
So when he thought it was tenants, toilets, and termites, he was like, no, thanks. But he's like, hey, mom's home on a Tuesday. Oh my God, she's home on a Wednesday. He kind of got that. Is that what I'm hearing?
He understands financial freedom and
Yeah.
understands, as we talk about schooling and the skyrocketing cost of college, a college
Ah,
education, and millennials coming out really strapped with debt, not able to buy a home
yeah.
because of all their school loan. And he's like, Mom, I don't think I need to go to college. You can make me a millionaire in a couple years. And I'm like, I probably could, but you still need to learn, the
Yeah.
basics of understanding, the world and interacting with people when you're away and all that. So I said, let's he's doing some online courses, so he'll be about a year ahead in
Okay.
college and start working on some rental properties and then, maybe go away the second 2 years. So
Okay.
we're still trying to figure all that out. But it was neat to have him get it, that the traditional American dream way of,
Yeah.
working till you're 65 and one day retiring is really not the best way forward in this day and age with the opportunities that we have in real estate.
Yeah. That 40-40 life is a thing you and I kind of defaulted into coming out of college, right? Working 40 years or
Yes,
40 hours for 40 years. We didn't know, at least nobody in my environment knew any different. So I was like, okay, just go that way. So to see, and forgive
absolutely.
me, is your 16-year-old your oldest?
He is. Yep.
Ah, so you got some behind him sort of looking up to him. So that's going to be pretty cool to watch the evolution of the younger ones as well. So
Oh, sure. My 13-year-old, she just turned 13, also wanted nothing to do with it. And once I downloaded books and things for Dane to start and him to start doing it, and talked about him taking over our empire one day. So
Yeah.
like, wait a second, what about me? I think I want to do
Ah,
real estate now too. So I'm excited that she's, even though she's 13 and very young,
yeah.
she's starting to want to get it and starting to see it too. So I'm hoping that it wears off on both of them.
Yeah. I mean, at 13, if you can just get them comfortable with the vocabulary, you are light years ahead, right?
Absolutely.
So
We
that's
play
pretty cool.
cash flow for kids. So
Oh, that's
that's helping
awesome.
a little bit.
I love that game. It's a game that,
Yeah.
yeah, the game, if you can play, it's fun. I have the original cash flow, right? With the whole income and balance sheet. You do it with pencil and eraser. I've gone through so many
Oh
erasers.
yeah.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, it's
Um,
awesome.
so one of the things I knew I wanted to talk about with you, because we haven't spoken in about a month, is 2020. Because you and I have been doing this for, let's just call it 20 years each. And because we have that history, I often find myself looking at the current environment and trying to relate it to things I saw and felt in the past. I'm a
Hmm.
very kind of feeler investor. And right now it kind of feels like 2004 to me. And just to remind you what '04 was, '04 was a year that we had nationally 9%, roughly, depending on who you look at, 8.9, 9.1, whatever it is, 9% appreciation in single family homes. I was only doing single
Hmm.
family homes back then, so I don't have any feel for multifamily at all, because I was only looking at 3 bedroom, 2 bath, 2 car garage homes in '04. But it just feels like it. And then I think about, but wait, inventories at record lows, interest rates are 2/3 of what they were because I bought at 7 and they're now
Yeah.
4. And
Yes.
the economy is light. I mean, '04 was not particularly a good year, right? I think unemployment was probably 6.5, somewhere in there. It's just a different world. I just don't know how all that combination doesn't make 2020, double digit appreciation for single family homes. You have an experience like mine. You're on the East Coast, so I just thought I would put that out there because maybe I'm subject to a California bias here. Maybe, I don't know.
One thing I think your observations I think are pretty astute in terms of, it's very important to look back at history to see, what kind of lessons we can learn from where we were before and kind of where does it feel like we are in
Hmm.
terms of trying to figure out the market cycle and when the next recession might come.
Hmm.
So I think it's definitely important to look back and kind of say, given what we know about where things were then, what were the signs that
Hmm.
a recession was looming a few years later?
Hmm.
And kind of where do we feel like we are in that now? And how might we pivot and react accordingly, in our short term plans and our long term plans? I do think it is somewhat regionalized because I know, being in California, your area has been a lot more subject to big highs and big lows in these different market cycles.
Yep.
Where I was in Texas in '04, and we were actually doing our first property flip in
Uh-huh.
'04, and things went well, but there was so much building that it made it hard to sell because it was starting to be suddenly oversupplied in Texas at
Mm.
that time. And
Okay.
again, I was in Houston, so I was in a really big city,
Hmm.
and certain pockets of suburbs outside of Houston and Texas were, really undersupplied. And so, housing was doing really, really well, going up in values. And then suddenly oversupply was starting to hit the Houston area, I think about '04, '05.
Okay.
And I know about central Pennsylvania there. In '07, I was in central PA. And surprisingly, in '07, the prices in central PA had not gone up nearly as high as they did in the Californias and parts of Florida and Nevada.
Hmm.
But then when things crashed in '08, '09, things didn't go down very much here either. So this has
Hmm.
been kind of a really area that's very resilient and kind of immune to highs and low lows. And
Okay.
so, I don't know because I've seen it kind of different in different areas, but
Hmm.
in general, I get the sense, like you say, that we are, the fact that interest rates are so low
Yeah.
and they just hit 3-year lows again,
Yeah.
it's really stimulating continued, borrowing and buying and building. And so where, a year ago when interest rates were raised and the market started to teeter and kind of some aftershocks and the Fed quickly reversed course, I thought, man, things are not going well. And I suspect maybe in
Hmm.
2020 we'd see a recession.
Hmm.
Now I'm not sure. Does it go out another 18 months? Does the election make a difference? Because of the different economic policies and how they do impact the economy overall. So
Yeah.
it's hard to say, but it feels really good right now. And where I felt like things are heading toward recessionary territory, and I
Yeah.
still think they will,
Oh,
not if but when.
correct.
I don't know that it's 2020. We're a year ago, when people were saying, "Oh, I don't think it's still 2021, 2022." I was like, I don't know,
Oh, I don't know.
but
Yeah.
things are feeling pretty good right now, and the rates staying low where they are, I think will hold off any kind of contraction
Yeah.
for a little bit. And so I think if we can ride some appreciation in certain areas for a few more months, and sell at the top while things are good, hold off a little bit before we buy if things are,
Yeah.
going to go sky high. I think there's some wisdom in that.
Yeah. So there's a couple of things. So first, like you, I was talking about on my daily, I do a daily show, right? Daily Millionaire News or whatever. Back in like September, October, I was talking about, okay, guys, things are getting a little squirrely. This is before the Fed reversed, right, and did 3
Yeah.
cuts. I was like, ooh, this is getting interesting. You got to watch earnings. You can get layoffs, right? The recession, there were signs, right? The inverted yield curve was a thing at the time.
Yes.
So I was like, okay, I'm uncomfortable. Then all that stuff goes away. 3 rate cuts, record low interest rates, unemployment numbers just last week were awesome. I see no chance of a recession in 2020. Even if
Mm,
we elect a socialist to the highest office, he'll impact 2021, right?
sure.
Because a recession is 2 consecutive quarters of negative growth, and you just mathematically can't get there with a November election. Um,
Right.
so
Right.
I think
I
2020
agree.
is, yeah, we skate through no recession. Secondarily, the election could absolutely change 2021 and 2022, depending on who the 2 running candidates are. Or
Right.
I guess we know who one is, but the other one. Um,
Right.
yeah, the election based on policies and whoever gets in, it always does. They always have an impact on
Right.
money, on taxes, on spending, on debt. We should be
Right.
ready.
And it's interesting.
Yeah,
It's
go ahead.
interesting that some people think, oh, the election's not going to make that much of a difference. But
Oh,
when, in the time that you're in today, where we see, especially as landlords, we see rent controls,
oh,
we see huge tax hikes,
yeah,
and then layering on top of that rent controls. And so you've got this move in more liberal political areas to, raise taxes instead of lower taxes like a conservative
yep,
area would for conservative policy, and then you're capping rates and capping rent rates. And so if you combine that and then you throw in a socialist,
oh,
if that were to happen,
oh,
being in real estate could be really hit pretty hard because of the fears of what's going to happen when you know income and wage equality and then rent equality and cap rate, rent caps go in federally,
yeah,
which could happen if we ever
absolutely,
veered that way. And so those kind of things could make a tremendous difference to a landlord and to someone that's a real estate investor,
yep,
more than I think people realized in the past,
yeah,
where now the political differences in the prevailing 2 parties are so
oh,
far apart in terms of
yeah,
economic policy. When you have like an ultra capitalist and an ultra socialist as 2 real potential leaders,
yeah,
changing from one to another could
oh,
create quite a bit of shockwaves. So I definitely am more nervous for 2021, 2022, depending on what
yeah,
happens.
yeah,
But I think just seeing that there is such a wide difference and really momentum on both sides politically,
hmm,
what the future holds, who knows? And so we've got to watch these things
yeah.
and be wise to our actions without letting fear take over.
Yeah, no question. So things that I'm doing, because I always like putting out what I'm doing, just so people don't feel like I'm hiding anything.
Yeah.
I'm watching the Democratic primary just to see who wins. It certainly seems, at least as it currently stands after Iowa and New Hampshire, that the middle is not sexy anymore. So you've got to be an extremist to get the votes.
Yeah.
And if that holds, right, we'll wait through Super Tuesday to see if it holds, which it may or may not. But if it does, I will head into the election with more cash than I've had in a long time, because I don't know. I just
Smart.
don't know. If the center turns around and starts to win and the socialist is out of the picture, I won't have as much cash. But if it's those two, if it's the ultra capitalist and the socialist running, I will have more cash at the end of the year than I've had in a long time.
Yeah. And one thing I've learned, all the things that I thought there's no way that someone like XYZ would ever
Yeah.
become the president. And then it happens,
Yeah.
you want to say if a socialist gets in, Donald Trump's going to be the president again, because there's not enough people in the country. American capitalist society.
Yeah.
But I mean, Donald Trump got in, and nobody thought he was president either. So there's so much polarization and pushback against the norms and the establishment that I think anything could happen.
Absolutely, anything could happen. If those are the two candidates, I will be in a cash rich position, hunkered down, because my vote counts just as much as everybody else's, and we're going to see what happens, because it'll be, oh my, can you imagine how toxic the ads and the talk, it's going to be horrible. I mean, we all Americans, people, we're all Americans.
Yes.
Anyways. Okay.
And then the question is this. So, I definitely will not be in equities heading toward the election. So I'm glad that I'm glad that I'm all out of the market. And even though I know looking back, I probably did that a little prematurely, conservatively. But as someone who lost 2/3 of my 401k in the last downturn, it's not going to happen again.
Not going to happen
I'm
again.
definitely more comfortable with a little bit of a cash, in liquid position. But, the beauty of real estate is if we buy in the right places, it's going to take years for things to really completely 180. Where in equities, it's like overnight, things could crash. So, being in rental real estate, if we're in decent areas, and we talked about recession resilient before and what you look for, if you're investing, even if not where you live, like let's say California starts getting to where rent controls and taxation becomes a problem. If you take some of that cash rather than being totally cash and invest in a conservative area, then at least you won't be significantly impacted as a landlord there for probably quite a few years. Because even at the federal level, if we have a new president, laws have to change through Congress, through the House. We've got the balance of power. So it could take some time to have big impacts. But I think we need to be real careful and, kind of, like you said, either hold some cash or diversify that money in some areas where it probably isn't going to happen as quickly.
I think you're so right. The fact, I wouldn't want to be in equities at all in November, right? If those are the two candidates going, because man, it'll change overnight. It'll be scary thoughts. All right. So the other thing that I'm thinking about 04, because again, I'm always trying to feel and try to get because I like to use it to, use the rear view mirror to at least indicate what the future might be, is I'm seeing a lot more real estate meetups, a lot more gurus, a lot more conferences, very 04 like. The topics are different. Today, the topics are raising private capital or syndication or multifamily, a little bit of one rental at a time, not much, but it's not, in 04, it was all flipping, right? Everybody was a flipper in 04. Today, I don't remember any topics really around flipping. A little bit around wholesaling and finding deals. Out of state seems to be a big topic, but it does feel like the masses are coming again, which makes me nervous.
Absolutely. And that always starts to happen near the top. People realize, wow, there's a few years, things are really great. All these people are killing it, making money. And then all the newbies come out and they're instant gurus, and they make more money selling courses and coaching and mentorship programs and masterminds than they do doing deals. And part of the reason for that, Michael, is because property prices are so high, and for multifamily, cap rates are so low. It's so competitive that it's hard to find profitable deals. And so when it's hard to find profitable deals, even though everybody wants them, they've got to figure out, how can I supplement my income and have another income stream related to real estate that isn't actually coming from the deals until the right deals come.
Right.
And so that's the bottom line of why people start to do some teaching and coaching. And some of them that are really experienced, I have no problem with that if they're teaching you the right
Yeah.
way. But you do see a lot of, one hit wonders, like seem like overnight successes,
Yeah.
trying to sell you these things, and they're really not doing a lot of deals. And it's just a sign of where we are in the cycle, up near the top, whether we're over or just about to be at the top.
Yeah.
It remains to be seen, but we are clearly at a rallying point near the top,
Hmm.
and that's why they're coming out of the woodwork. So I think it's an absolute correct parallel to where we were back then,
Yeah.
and a sign of where we are.
Yeah. And the other thing I just saw yesterday, one of the things I do is I try to, when I'm at the gym, right, I either put on Gary Vee or Grant Cardone. And yesterday I almost fell off the treadmill. Grant Cardone, right, the anti don't buy a home guy,
Mm-hmm.
is starting to talk about buying fourplexes and eightplexes and 16plexes again.
Oh,
And I'm like, holy cow, he can't even find deals now. The bigger is better's guy is selling mentoring. He spent that whole time basically setting you up for the big, I'm selling mentoring now and come be a part of my group and blah, blah,
right.
blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh, you son of a gun.
Yeah,
You're supplementing your income, as you say. And
right.
I literally, I had to look at my phone. I'm going, am I watching a video that's like 2 years old? I mean, oh my God, this came out yesterday. What am I,
Yeah,
what am I watching?
yeah,
That just tells me we're at the top of the market. I mean, if this guy is reversing course, because I mean, if you remember a year ago, he's saying, if you buy anything less than 60 units, you're an idiot. I mean, and he used
right.
more colorful language than that. And
Yes.
now he's like, go get a fourplex, live in one of the
Yeah,
units, house hack. I'm like, oh my God, what
exactly.
crazy world am I living in now?
Exactly. And yeah, it's for that exact reason, because the reality is, and this is why, I like what we, are doing. One of the reasons why is because when all these gurus are saying you're wasting your time or you're somehow have not arrived if you're buying the small stuff. And I'm like, when I look at the returns on my portfolio on my small stuff, they're significantly higher than on the big stuff. They just are.
Exactly.
Um,
I've been telling people for a year, do the math. Bigger's not better.
Correct, correct. Now, you can structure big deals and you find great off-market deals, and I've been very blessed to be able to find a few that have been very profitable.
Yeah.
But just on a dollar for dollar cash on cash return and ROI basis, your smaller stuff can be very, very profitable because everybody isn't out there searching for them because they think it's a waste of time. When
Exactly.
reality, it's not. No, there's pluses and minuses, the economies of scale and the efficiencies of bigger ones and all of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's great to see that some other guys that are well known and well liked are finally saying what we've known, that you can
Yeah.
make money in real estate in so many different. Bottom line is, it depends on what's the market giving you,
Yep.
where are the opportunities, and that's how you pivot. And so, for him, he's pivoting from big to smaller or mentorship and coaching fees.
Yeah, I think for
But
him
yeah,
it's mentorship and coaching fees. I don't see him stroking offers on fourplexes, but he'll take your money at $1,000 a month, I'm sure.
yeah,
Yeah. So that's awesome. And again, I did a whole presentation this Saturday in Virginia where the 90-minute talk was bigger is not better. For most people, if you
yes,
just got to 4 single family homes, you're changing your financial future forever. I mean, just with 4.
yes.
And I had
Hmm.
so many people come shake my hand or take a picture and basically say thank you because they were feeling
Yes,
like a failure just wanting 4 homes. I'm like, oh my God, the fact that the talk track and social media is making you feel like a failure for wanting 4 homes, shame on the industry, right?
absolutely.
Go get
Yeah.
your single family
Michael, I
homes. It's
had the
okay.
exact same thing. I had the exact same thing happen. I was in New York City speaking at IMN, and it was on the middle market forum. So middle market multifamily, smaller than 100 units typically,
Uh-huh.
but bigger than, maybe 20.
Okay.
So a lot of people that are kind of in that middle market space, and, we had the same discussion on, whether right now you should be buying for cash flow or appreciation, and then
Uh,
where the deals are. And, one of the investors that was there speaking on the panel with me, it was one of the first things he said. He's like, I've done small, I've done big, I've done ground up, I've done low income housing tax credits. And the best thing you guys can do starting out is go buy a 4-unit or
Yeah.
house hack if you haven't. And so, that the discussion pivoted to that. And I was able to tell them, the same thing. That's what made me independently wealthy and financially free, was the small 4-unit buildings. And so it doesn't take
Yeah.
becoming institutionalized, and maybe in more ways than one, to, to create wealth in real estate. And you really can do it on a small scale until it's the right time and the right market and opportunities to allow you to do it on a bigger scale, if
Yeah.
that's even the way you want to go.
Yeah. I think that's a great way to leave this conversation. Again, you can get to where you want to go on small deals. There's nothing wrong with it. You don't have to do 100 units. You're not a failure if you're not doing 100 units. I mean,
Right.
that's just, I mean, you're not going to hope your 16-year-old son that their first deal is 100 units. I'm guessing it's probably not where you want them to start.
No.
Yeah.
On a small property, because that's where you can learn and make a lot more mistakes on a small scale that cost a whole lot less money
Yeah.
to make those mistakes. Because the reality is all of us will.
Absolutely.
I've made many mistakes, and those are the things that have taught me, and they've cost me some money. But if you try to go in big right away, your mistakes are big money. They hurt a lot more, and they could devastate you and make you not do it again.
Absolutely.
So there's something to be said for smaller properties. And the other thing is too, because of the interest rate environment we're in,
Yeah.
the loan that you can get allows you to boost returns, even if you are paying slightly higher prices. So I hear some people say they won't buy anything right now because we're at the top of the market, but we don't know how long the top of the market's going to go.
Yeah.
And you can make money in any cycle. And so, the benefit of now is, even though prices are a little higher, if you can find something off market and then you can finance it at, long term, sub 4 interest rates,
Ugh,
you're golden for 20, 30 years on those properties. So
for
it's a
sure.
great time to continue to invest in real estate. Just got to do it cautiously.
I couldn't agree more. Thank you so much for being with us this week. This is always so much fun. I always look forward to it. Thank you very much, Anna.
Thank you, Michael. Look forward to talking to you next week.
You got it.